I'm at St Benedict's in Hastings, and I have the pleasure of meeting Claudia Burnett. Hello, Claudia.
Hello.
We met in rather unusual circumstances. Why don't you say your angle?
Okay, so my angle is I was staying at a friend's, having been to a party the night before.
And we later found out we knew who the friend was.
Yes. And I suddenly just had the impetus to get up and leave. Normally I kind of faff around for a few minutes, but I didn't. I just needed to leave. And as I was walking through the concourse, the back entrance of Brighton station, I saw a lady in the distance, and she was looking like she was struggling with her bags.
That was me, yes.
And her bag had fallen to the ground, and I instantly thought, oh, maybe I should help her. And so I went up to her, and I inadvertently asked her two questions at once. One was, are you okay, and do you need help? And she said no. And I said, okay, was that the answer to the first question or the second question? And I realised it was the answer to the first question. So I offered to help her with her bags, which she accepted. And as I picked up her bag, she asked me where I was going, and I said, I'm going back to St Leonard's. And she was like, oh, I'm going to St Leonard's. And then she told me that she was staying at a place called St Benedict's. And
For Christmas?
For Christmas, which was on Pevensey Road, which is just up the road from where I live. So there was a lot of synchronicities, which we just got into conversation, and eventually we found out that our birthdays are on the same day.
Which is amazing, the 30th of December.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. But of course, I am older than you. Anyway, it doesn't stop there, because then today I discovered that the person she was staying with was someone I'm friendly with.
Yes.
And, she looked me up on Facebook. Anyway, enough of that. Do tell me about how you make a living, because it's quite interesting.
So I make a living working with bodies, basically. I work with the body's natural intelligence, and I focus on three main healing modalities. One called metamorphic technique, which I work on the feet, hands and head, mainly on the feet. And the second one is hypnostasis, which is working with the body's natural intelligence to heal itself, which is a combination of hypnotherapy and homeostasis.
Can you explain what homeostasis is?
Homeostasis is where the body comes naturally into balance. So your breathing, the way your blood flows, your mind, body and spirit, basically. And then the third one I do is called access bars, which I work on the head. And I just there's 32 points on the head that when you touch them, just releases all your patterns to do with the way you think, what you've taken in from other people around blame, shame, regret, guilt, anger, resentment, and I like to call it...
And negativity.
And
because
negativity.
People, when they dump on you, those are the people to avoid.
Yeah, but sometimes we take things on subconsciously as well. And I like to call it it's like a colonic for the brain. So it gets rid of everything that you've taken in throughout your life as well. Not all in one go, just gradually. So I like to work with basically the body has a natural intelligence to heal itself, but sometimes our mind just gets in the way. And the three modalities I like to focus on just helps the mind to take a step back and the body to take a step forward.
How long have you been involved in this alternative technique?
Those three for the past probably 3 years. About 3 years. But I've been doing alternative therapies for about nearly 10 now.
Any particular reason why? When you say been doing it, you mean receiving it or giving it? Giving for 10 years. So what have you trained in?
So angel healing.
Oh, right.
And card reading. So I do card readings as well.
You don't mean tarot?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, tarot, I don't use tarot. I use angel cards, and I do just automatic readings for people. Just connect with their energy and do readings that way. I don't often use tarot, but I do occasionally. I am quite psychic as well, which I've only just allowed myself to acknowledge. And the more I acknowledge that, the stronger it gets. So yeah.
How has being psychic manifested itself? Can you give me an example?
Oh, put me on the spot.
Right, that's good.
Sometimes just as simple as knowing what's going to happen. I've got a gift for not predicting the future, but knowing future events. So knowing that somebody who is connected with somebody else, that relationship might not last much longer, or something might happen in that relationship. Knowing who's knocking on the door, that kind of thing. Knowing when I met you, remember when I met you and you had told your friends that you needed to be at the station for a certain time and it was the wrong time and you were worried that they weren't going to come, and I was like, don't worry, they're going to get here on time. And then suddenly Alan turned up and
you knew him.
I actually happened to know him. I'd actually happened to met him before.
Yeah.
So I knew that they were going to get there on time for you to get your train.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's just a knowing that I have where everyone else is worried about a particular thing and I'm not really worried. So a couple of years ago in 2012, I went to Antigua to stay with my dad for 3 months. And my mum had called up to say that she wasn't very well and she had been diagnosed with cancer. And instantly I knew it wasn't cancer. I told her to go back and get another check. And what it was calcium in the breast tissue, which could lead to cancer. So I instantly knew that it wasn't. And sometimes I don't know how I know something. But when I know it clearly, it's almost like, no, that's not right. That doesn't feel right to me.
So... both your parents are from Antigua?
No, my parents are from Jamaica.
Oh, yes, Jamaica.
But my dad bought some land in Antigua because he liked it there and he built a house.
And so he lives there?
He lives there.
And where does your mother live?
My mum lives in Enfield.
Oh, okay. In England?
Yes.
Okay. And the rest of your family, have you got family in Jamaica?
I have family in Jamaica. My uncles and aunts still live in Jamaica and some cousins.
Which part of Jamaica?
Kingston and I can't remember, around St Catherine's and St Elizabeth.
And you've been to Jamaica,
yes,
have you?
I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Could you live there?
I couldn't live there. It's a bit too dangerous for me. I like to just go walking. Wherever I am, I just like to get up and go for a walk. And it's not the easiest place to just get up and
Definitely
go for a walk.
not Kingston.
And especially if they hear my voice, then it's not
They
easy.
know that you're not one of them.
Yeah, yes.
And also by the way you dress, they know, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes, I've... Okay, all right. Well, and you live in St Leonard's.
I do.
You've chosen to live in St Leonard's,
I have,
but
yes.
before that you were in Brighton, was it, or Lewis?
I've been so I lived in London all of my life, and I moved 7 years ago. And
7. Oh yes, no, 7 is a key,
7 is a key
number in your life, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So I moved from London to Eastbourne, and then Eastbourne to Lewis to Brighton, Brighton to...
Is this the final resting place, do you think?
This is the final resting place.
You
For
think
now.
so?
For now. Yeah.
Well, you never know what can happen, do you?
Exactly.
It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.